Now, if you've been living under a rock this past few days, Asmongold got banned. Why did he get banned? Because he said that invaders of your country should be shot, whether they are men, women, or children. The reasoning for this that he has explained, I think he explained it perfectly in his video. You are encouraging foreigners to use your morality against you. They are using children, they're not the moral ones, as a moral and physical shield in order to escape prosecution and deportation. They are invaders using our morality against us. Now, last time Asmongold was suspended from Twitch, or banned. I hate that they use the word banned. Banned means like permanent. Suspension is temporary. I don't understand why they say ban. Anyway, neither here nor there. Last time, he apologized. I think he might regret that apology. But what we're all hoping is that there is no apology this time. So Asmon got on camera and explained the situation. Oh, forgot to change it. Whoops. Sorry.
Hey guys, it's me again, and usually at this point I've already made like 2 or 3 other videos about why I got suspended on Twitch, and I've been farming this a lot, but unfortunately something that has nothing to do with Twitch at all actually took precedence over this, and that's why I haven't really made any comments or said anything on anywhere about any of this. And so first part of this video is going to be talking about that, and then the second part is going to be talking about the Twitch suspension. I got suspended for 2 weeks. I'll probably try to appeal it, see if I can get it down to a week. We don't really know. If not, maybe I'll stream on Kick or something. Maybe I'll just take a vacation. I'm not really sure. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, that's the TLDR. So about 3 or 4 days ago, because the day that I got suspended, I actually didn't even go live. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the day before that, I had a health symptom that was identical to my dad's health symptom before he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Oh shit. Okay, that definitely takes precedent over over suspension for a millionaire. Yeah, I would see the doctor real quick after that.
So this, I got really...
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but I stopped streaming on Twitch. I mean, honestly, my perspective was, just to give users, whatever platform they want. But the thing is, no one ever watched me on Twitch, and I think it's a garbage platform. I had no interest in it. I have majority of my interest is in the YouTube platform, and I actually do have interest in Kick and Rumble, more so on the Kick side of things nowadays. But I have no incentive to stream on Twitch. They're all lunatics over there, majority of them, and they do not, abide by their TOS equally. Hence, Asmongold's ban. Hence, Tectone's ban. Hence, geez, like name a fucking VTuber that hasn't been banned.
Upset. I was freaking out, and so I'm laying in bed. I'm fucking petrified. I am like panicked. I'm looking things up online. I'm messaging people. I eventually go to the emergency room and I go through all of this. And I don't want to get into the details of what the symptoms were or anything because honestly, it's kind of gross. But
I'm guessing that it had to do with fecal matter. I wonder, or vomiting. That's kind of the only guess I can, but it's his personal life. If he doesn't want to share it, that's fine.
all you need to know is that that's pretty much what happened. And so I fell asleep on the futon over there, and I wake up, and this is like the day I got suspended, and I had been like, at this point I had not been on my computer at all in like 24 hours, right? Because I was so stressed out and upset about this. All I could do was just lay down, and I didn't know, like, am I dying? Is there something wrong with me, right? And so I look at, and I see the reflection, like, this is stupid, but like I can see the reflection of this monitor from this monitor, and I can kind of see, like, are there new messages? And I saw that there was like a post about like a tweet, and I'm like, I just had a feeling that I was getting suspended, right? I just had a feeling, and I looked and I got suspended.
He has a sixth sense on this. He's like, I can tell when I'm being banned and when Hassan Piker is not.
suspended. And I was like, this is the first time I got the computer. I'm like, well, how long is it? I said 14 days. I said, thank God, right? Thank God. Now I'm gonna have 2 weeks to deal with this problem, right? So, and honestly, that's the way that I felt. Like I wasn't really even stressed out or upset about it.
Yeah, the number one, like, the two places that I think are the most beneficial for streamers at this point in time, especially if you're new, would be YouTube and Kick. I always encourage multi-streaming. And even if you want to go on Twitch, I don't, not you specifically, Phantom, but I completely support that. But as far as that, I'm looking into it. Like I stream on YouTube, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, and Kick, and I'm having a good time. Yeah, do I have to censor my words a little bit more on YouTube? Yeah. So far, I have not been banned. I haven't been suspended. Nothing like that. But you never know. One day, I mean, that's why you multi-stream. That's why you have different platforms. But I definitely encourage, especially on Kick, because Rumble's API is kind of weird to work with. But I would highly suggest at least doing YouTube and Twitch if you, YouTube and Kick, if you want, if you absolutely hate Twitch.
No, really not. I mean, it is.
Well, VTubers are just they get unfairly hit with a ton of different stuff. They get banned. Smugalana, she got a 7-day ban, and two of her videos have been removed, and she's gotten a strike. Like it's all sorts of bullshit. And if we have time, we're going to cover that today.
What it is, right? I mean, Twitch is fucking retarded, and what do you expect, right? But anyway, so all this happens, and I immediately just got off the computer. I didn't really think about it, honestly. So because I was so worried about this health problem, then fast forward to the following day, I talked to some couple of people that I know that I could ask about this, and I get one person, I go, and I finally go to the emergency room after talking to one doctor, and they looked at everything. They, basically said, calm down, retard, it's okay. And
yeah, Rumble. And the thing is, Rumble VTubers, they tend to not get a lot of viewership either. Rumble is working on having more of an algorithm-based system, because right now, a lot of it is people who follow because they followed on a different platform. And in regards to the homepage, a lot of it is editors' picks. But they will be changing it to an algorithm system so it's actually more fair.
And I'm okay. I'm okay. Especially this morning, these symptoms have totally gone away. If you want me to be honest, like just completely, like 100%, like just transparent, I'm still worried. I am. I'm 36 years old. I have had really no health problems ever in my entire life other than my teeth. And I see all of my friends that are like, now they have this issue, now they have that issue. And it's like, when is it going to be time? My mom used to always say, and this would always upset me, but it's true, something's going to take you home, right? And it does really scare me a lot. And I, like a lot of times I like to think of myself as being above that, right? But whenever you're faced with it, I realized that I was very much below it.
I remember my choir teacher in high school. I asked him what it was like to, get old. I think at the time he was, he actually looked a lot older. He was a big, tall dude, but he had gray hair and everything. And by the time I left, I think he turned like 51 or 52. So he's probably in almost to his 70s now. But I asked him, what it was like getting old. He goes, well, your brain still feels like it's 18. And you go to a lot more funerals. I'm like, Jesus, that's dark.
Was extremely scared. I was really worried. And so I've been dealing with that for the past about 3 or 4 days. And now that it's at least partially resolved, I'm probably going to get a follow-up appointment and have, like a bit more like testing done about this to make sure that I'm okay. But otherwise, like that's pretty much the reason why I didn't make any comments about it.
Well, I'd say that for long-time VTubers that have been on the Twitch platform, they flourish. They really do. They just don't flourish on like new VTubers. I'd say, as far as I can recall, I'd say there was a 2020 boom. I would say if you were a VTuber starting out in the last year and a half, you're not going to get anywhere on Twitch. At least not easily. The most popular VTubers, the thing, okay, here's something that actually really does upset me. Because remember, like, so recently, Stream University happened, and there was that video of Ludwig, of him going through kind of what his process is, and all of these students were blown away because they're like, wait, why do you post on YouTube? It's like, because that's the only way you get fucking discovered. Post on YouTube, post on post on YouTube, post on Snapchat, post on TikTok, post on Rumble, like especially YouTube. YouTube is like your number one clipping platform. And these live streamers just are sitting there being like, well, really? Like, yeah, you're not going to get any discoverability naturally on Twitch unless someone raids you or you get a shout out or something. Like, there's a little bit of that here on YouTube. Like, there are some creators, like a good example would be Clinic. Clinic, amazing YouTuber, was not getting the viewership that I think that he deserves. So he made an Alyssa Mercante video, and I saw it, and the production. If you haven't seen Clinic's videos, they're like one of the best gaming YouTubers ever. The production is insane, and the way he communicates is amazing. But I saw he made a Alyssa Mercante video, and this is probably one of the only times I strong-armed Smash, like legit. I said, dude, you have to react to this video. It goes, well, and if I have time, I go, Smash, I don't ask you to react to stuff. This production is too good for you not to give this guy a shout out. So he reacted to the Alyssa Mercante video, and I shouted him out on X, and his channel went from like, I think he had like 400 or 500 subscribers or 600 subscribers, and it just immediately went past the 1,000 mark, and now he's over 10,000 subscribers. So yeah, shout outs like and reaction videos, like they're honestly, I think they're absolutely necessary for the creator economy, because Clinic would have been grinding probably for another year before he would have hit 1,000 subscribers.
Just so preoccupied with that like I just didn't really even give a fuck about Twitch, right? I mean, it's funny how, you can have something that's like, one of the biggest parts of your life, which is like my stream, and then like something else can happen, and it's like the other.
So Asmon has said, like, I believe he said this, correct me if I'm wrong, but he primarily, and he has said this, I remember him saying this, he streams to make YouTube videos. He has said that. So if you are a streamer and you do not clip your stuff and put it on YouTube, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Now, the one thing that I don't do is shorts, because it's just extra work. At some point, I will do it more, but right now, I'm just trying to get videos out, getting my watch time up for my second channel. And so far, so good. I think I've gotten like 80 subscribers on my second channel in like a week. So I'm doing something right.
Thing just doesn't even exist anymore, right? It's a very, very weird paradox of life. But anyway, so that's pretty much what happened with me, a couple of days ago and a few days ago. That's why I even taken a day off that day. And so, this happens, and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm such a relief. Now I don't have to feel bad about not going live, right? And so anyway, I got suspended for 14 days. That's what happened. Again, wow, a 36-year-old man has a health scare. This has never happened before in the history of humanity. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. So anyway, the second part is going to be about why I got suspended. So I got suspended because, and just to add some context, because this has been very editorialized on the on Twitter and everything like this. But basically, what I said was that so Ceuta, which is and a little bit of geography here. So Spain is like on the top of the Mediterranean Sea. Strait of Gibraltar is like right here, Spain, right? And so underneath that is Morocco. And in the very, very tip of Morocco, there's a city that's owned by Spain, and it's been owned by Spain for hundreds of years. This isn't like something that's new. This isn't like a recent occupation. This has been going on like since before like the it's like the Ottoman Empire time days, right? I don't know. I remember reading the date that it happened, but it was like literally hundreds of years ago. So they've
Hold up, was that Suspiria from Fallout? Uh I've never beaten a Fallout game, so I don't know.
Had this city, it's called Cuba, for a long time. City has a population of about 80,000 people, and 40 to 60,000, obviously just by the nature of this, it's not really verified how many, random migrants just all came over in about basically one day's time into this small city. Now, this has, in my opinion, like in any other point in history, this would be viewed as a military invasion, because of course the overwhelming majority of these people are military age men. And so what I see.
Okay, just to give you guys context, this is Spain, and this is Suerta. Or I don't know how to pronounce it. But essentially, Morocco, where's Morocco? I forget where Morocco is. Oh, it's right there. Of course. I don't know why. Oh, why was I thinking? So essentially, they couldn't get through the border here. So instead, they went by sea and went to a coast town and invaded the country of Spain, which holds this area at the very tippy top of Africa. And because there were so many of them, the police essentially couldn't do anything. They couldn't shoot them. They couldn't do anything. All these military-aged men just invading the country because freedom. And then within hours, they were trying to break into houses so that they could become squatters, so that they could be legally protected. And we have all these laws for immigrants. The what is it? Oh yeah, the Prime Minister of Spain has given a ton of money to Morocco right here. Even though Spain has a water shortage, he sent money over to Morocco in order to help them with their water. So their prime minister is a lefty lunatic. So apparently they are starting to deport people from Suerta. But essentially, this was completely unnecessary. And Asmongold is going to be talking about how, at this point, there's so many invasions, we should just start shooting them indiscriminately. That's essentially what happened.
Said is that I think that if you have that many people pouring over your border and you just can't deal with it all, like you can look at the footage of this and it literally looks like it's World War Z. It looks like a battlefield, right? It's like a hell on earth type situation. There's trash everywhere and everything. I think I'm straight up said I think you should shoot these people, right? I mean, like, I believe that. I do.
Well, I heard some of them swam, but the thing is, like, they took boats. Like, there's a lot of boats just carrying a bunch of people, a bunch of military-aged men. Huh. I wonder why.
I mean, this is a violent military invasion into a city, and after they got into the city, obviously these people were smashing out windows. They were obviously, breaking into stores, stealing things out of stores. I saw like one video. It's always hard to know like what's real and what's not, but I saw a video and it's like if you ever watch Troy, like remember like a fucking Brad Pitt as Achilles like stabbed the dude in the neck at the beginning of the movie. That's like what happened. Like one of these like migrants seemingly stabbed the random citizen in the neck with this knife. Right?
This is what happens when you do not have immigration laws, or you ignore the immigration laws that are on the book. Because then if it's so free and open, you're going to run into problems like this. That's why we have an immigration system that should be used, where you vet people before they come in. But now we have, it was just exposed that there was companies in India that were selling bachelor's degrees from a fake college so that they could get their H-1B1 visa and work at 7-Eleven here in the United States. I'm sorry, that doesn't sound like a doctor to me.
Right? And they killed this person, I'm assuming, right? Or at least they're in critical condition. So basically the city is being terrorized by a mass invasion of military-aged migrants that have come over for, various different reasons. And people were saying that you couldn't do that because, well, there might be kids in the crowd. And my response to that is that you should shoot them anyway. You should do this anyway. And it doesn't matter really what the collateral damage is. You should defend your borders, especially when you're being invaded by such a massive force of people. So this never really was a conversation about, like, baseline immigration enforcement. It was never about, like, using kids or anything like that. But the reality is that with a lot of these third world countries and a lot of their cultures in the world, if you use a Western frame of reference to look at the values and the morality of the third world people like this, you're going to render yourself blind. You will not understand their theory of mind. They don't look at things the way that you do. That's why Joseph Kony has his child army, and there was Kony 2012 and everything. That never really went away, by the way. It's still happening.
Yeah, these people do not think the same way as you do. They have completely separate values. If they're willing to use children as shields, they have different values than you. So because of that, so your values aren't taking advantage of, you go, all right, well, we don't want to do this, but we will. And it takes one, maybe two times. Then they know you're not fucking around. And guess what? They stop. Or they get more clever. But I'm sorry, but if you are the kind of parent or I guess smuggler that is going to put a child in danger by bringing them across countries, across an ocean, and then met with a military force, and you don't think anything bad is going to happen to them, I'm sorry, we'll prove that you're wrong. It's called a deterrent. Doesn't mean that that no one is sad about, children, being gunned down. No one wants that. No one wants that. So my solution is for President Trump to give a warning, be like, hey, if you cross our border, we will shoot you on sight indiscriminately. This is your warning. If you do it, this will happen. Now, how many mothers do you think would take that risk? Not a lot. At least that's my thinking on it.
It might not be necessarily him, but there's other ones that are just as bad, if not worse. So the problem is that a lot of Westerners' morality is built off of the concept that everybody else thinks the way that we do, and unfortunately, that's not the reality. And so what these people will do is that they will bring kids with them, and they will use these kids as effectively human shields in order to invade the country and then take advantage of the people in the country. I view this a lot like a trolley problem, and so the reason what I mean by that is that basically you're choosing to stop the invaders here rather than creating a reward structure and an incentive structure around using kids, trafficking children, and effectively using them as political capital to fulfill an invasion's goal, which is to effectively take over this country.
Yeah, because what else would it be? If you actually look at the videos, man, all those men seemed fairly healthy and had a lot of muscle. They didn't look like they were starving. They had branded t-shirts that were completely clean. Are they really suffering that bad over there, or do they just want to get free shit?
Not take it over, right? But invade the city and then use the city as a way to get into mainland Spain and then disperse themselves.
They already are. Steak. They already are. The amount of African migrants that were coming through Mexico in order to get to the United States, like a ton of them. Like if you look at, I believe Nick Shirley's video, like almost like half of them weren't Mexican or weren't from South America. And that includes Chinese migrants. Yeah, Chinese migrants and Asian migrants were going through Mexico in order to get to the United States. Like that's how bad the border was before Trump came in.
For Europe. This is, I think, a very bad thing, and I think it should be stopped by any means necessary. I think this is a horrible problem. A lot of the people that are coming over there, many of them could be criminals. We have no idea. People said Morocco emptied their prisons and let those people come over. I have no idea if they did that or not. I would assume many cases they did. That's what Russia's done apparently with Ukraine, and so I don't really think this is the first time this has ever happened. There's many precedents for this. A lot of people look at this from the perspective of human rights or something like this, and I find this to be one of the most malignant and pernicious abuses and inversions of morality that we have nowadays. And I'll explain why. Never once have I ever heard about the human rights or the privileges or, what's the right thing to do for all the people in the city who are now having to be terrified in their homes, boarding their houses up. You have these migrants banging on their doors, smashing their windows.
Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, the summer of love. I mean, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, he made a point when he sent all the illegal migrants to liberal cities because they are struggling financially, with crime, with everything. And they're trying to take care of these people. They are using their citizens' tax dollars to take care of people who are not citizens. And on top of that, they are taking care of them, giving them free shit while they destroy New York City, while they destroy Los Angeles, while they destroy Chicago. I'm sorry, there needs to be a leadership change.
Businesses, potentially violating them, attacking them, and doing whatever they can to these people. You never, not once in my entire life have I ever heard about the concept of their human rights. I never hear about the people who have been.
Exactly. I don't know. That's fine. Exactly. Like what about our human rights? As citizens, what are our human rights? I don't know. I think it's a right for my country to keep majority of its money here. My tax dollars go to people here who are struggling. Can we at least do that? That'd be nice.
The victims of these policies and this lax enforcement whose lives have been effectively destroyed, and then for some reason we never think about them. We don't care about them. The only people that we care about are these invaders that are going around trying to take advantage of the country. And I think this is a profound inversion of morality. I don't think that any country has an obligation to take in migrants. I don't think any country has an obligation to let people invade their borders. And I think that at the capacity that was happening with Cuba, I do think that you should use lethal military force to repel a literal fucking invasion. Keep in mind, this is a city of 80,000 people, and 40 to 60,000 additional people tried to come in one day.
Isn't that insane? 60,000 versus 80,000. Do you think there was enough police officers or military personnel to stop a 60,000 man invasion? No, there wasn't. They were outmanned. There wasn't enough guns in the world. They were stuck. Because even if they did start, firing, they would have been overrun, and then it would have been exponentially worse. That's why you have borders. That's why you use tax dollars to invest in your military. You want to protect your citizens who have a way of life that you want to protect, that has been built for hundreds and hundreds, if not over 1,000 years. Protect them. They're literally paying the government to do so. The government should do that.
an invasion, and I think they should use guns to stop it. And I'm not sorry for saying that. And it doesn't matter what you try to use as, emotional blackmail or something like that. Fundamentally, all of these different tools that these people use will never actually be applied in a universal way. These are the same people whose ideology leads them to thinking that 6-year-olds can transition to another gender.
Same exact mentality. Same exact mentality. They think that anything is fucking permissible. And because these people are so brainwashed, even when it's at their doorstep, they still don't want to face the reality. They want their utopia that will never exist so badly that they're willing to shoot themselves in the foot in order to get it. And that's just the facts.
They're the ones that lead themselves to, defending Hamas and terrorist propaganda, because terrorists like to use kids as human shields as well, because they like to shoot rockets from schools. The reason why they do that is because there is a reward structure inside of our society that puts the damaging and the harm to children and women at a higher standard than the harm to, like, a military-aged man. Now, in a general sense, I would agree with that in a peacetime reality, but whenever these people are launching rockets and large-scale invasions, I think that you need to look at this as a wartime event. And I would ask yourself, how many people got killed in World War II? How many people get killed in every single war? Civilian casualties and killing anybody who's not a combatant is a tragedy. It's a horrible thing to have happen.
But it is a reality. No one wants that to happen. And because I think that we have Western values, we try to avoid those circumstances. But unfortunately, it's just a cosm of war. If someone is invading you, I'm sorry, that was an invasion. You defend your land. You defend your people. You defend your country. No ifs, ands, or buts.
But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have borders, and it doesn't mean that you can't make decisions to protect your own people, even if it comes at the expense of other people that are trying to do this in bad faith and use this. And by the way, the usage of people like this as human shields is a war crime in itself. And that's, I think, the biggest issue that I have with a lot of these people that are criticizing this, is that I don't think that they really care about these kids. They don't give a shit about them. Like, these are the people, they'll bring kids to an ICE protest. Like, why would you bring a kid to a protest where there's rioting and there's flashbang grenades and tear gas being set off? And
Exactly. Why would you put a child through that? Why would you do that? It seems like you don't have the child's best interest at heart. Even if you were a semi-decent parent and just taking a risk, for the greater good of the health of your family, still not a good call. Go through the proper channels. If you survived this long, then so can your kid. You as a child survived in Morocco. Apply for asylum, prove that you can actually integrate into Western culture. See, look, I know we have green cards and everything, but I think asylum seekers, I go, okay, you have 2 years. Actually, no, we need an incentive. We need to give them 6 months. You have 6 months to assimilate into our society. If you cannot do that, get the fuck out. I think 6 months is generous.
truth is, and there is a reason for it, the reason why they do that is because they want to use these kids and the harm that these kids will inevitably go through because of collateral damage, and they want to use this as a political tool so they can advance their agenda. These people they're sick. They're sick, evil people. And I also referred to the people that use the human shields as animals. Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
Honestly, I think they're worse than animals. Animals protect their young.
I think they're fucking animals. If you use children in order for you to invade a country or in order for you to do terrorist attacks, I think that you're a fucking animal. And I'm not sorry for it. And I honestly think that most people agree with me. I think that almost everybody does. But unfortunately, we've had this inversion of morality where these truly evil, malignant, pernicious people have been allowed to use this fake moral authority that they have to dictate that we have to allow terrorism, violence, and complete societal collapse. And if we don't allow this, somehow we're the ones that are evil. I reject this.
I think a lot of the issues that come today is because, okay, if you were not around when 9/11 happened, I will say, you know what? Muslims were profiled at the airports. We saw that a lot. There was definitely some racially motivated crimes that did happen against them. And I think because those incidents were happening, especially during 2001 and like 2008, because you were seeing a lot of that, I think that there was this sympathy that went towards Muslim people and migrants in general. And because of that, those few wrongdoings that were done back then, I think that transferred over when Barack Obama became president. Because then it was, oh, we have to sympathize with all Muslims. And the thing is, like the narrative that that Obama was born in Kenya. Like, no, again, a different mentality at the time. No one wanted to be racist. No one wanted to point out the fact. Everyone wanted to be nice. But then that niceness went too far, and then you combine that with gay marriage. And I'm not blaming gay marriage here, but the thing is, it did lead to the T and the Q that is obliterating the social fabric of this country as well. So I think a lot of the issues that we have today is because that incident 9/11 and some of the, racially motivated crimes that followed it. Because when we get into the Obama era, everyone's like, okay, we need to start being nice to Muslims now. And then that's when they really started coming into our country and starting to move in here, not realizing that we were setting up our own demise. If you look at Dearborn, Michigan, it is not an American city whatsoever. It's being taken over by Muslims. They have Sharia law there practically. like the heart of this nation. Like you'd think that Michigan would like. Wait, am I Dearborn, Michigan? Am I right about that? Hold on, I want to make sure that I'm right. The right state here. Dearborn, yeah, Dearborn, Michigan. I'm sorry, but we have variants of America. Muslim is not one of them. You could be Muslim privately. You can, do whatever. But once you start changing policy, the hell, like there's places now where they took away bacon and pork and sausages from schools to appease Muslim students. It's like, no, like, dude, if someone's a vegan, no one fucking cares. Just don't eat the meat. Schools provide salad nowadays. But when it becomes offensive to other people, not a dietary choice or a religious choice, when it becomes offensive to people and you make laws surrounding the offensiveness of that to a completely foreign group of people, then you got a problem. Then that means that you are enforcing laws that change the culture and the fabric of society, and we can't have that going on. I'm sorry. Then it's no longer about choice. It's no longer about individual freedoms. And if you start making those, especially in the local level, especially with schools, then you're going to get either two options. You are going to get the people who are going to be overly nice to foreigners who don't have your best interests at heart, or you're going to make a lot of angry Americans even angrier. And I'm sorry, but if you're looking at the elections right now, Americans are pretty fucking angry. What do you think is going to happen? Nothing good. So we need to stop the immigration. We need to put a pause in immigration, like for a solid 5 years, 10 years. Like, stop it. You better have an H1, you better like be vetted. No more H1B1s, no more fucking students from China, no more students from across the pond. None of it. Keep it in-house for 5 years. And then I think you'll actually see some fucking progress. Oh, and deport them as well.
Completely. And I understand that in doing so, there might be some people, this isn't a very comfortable thing to say. It's not a very polite thing to say. This isn't something that you'd read on a bumper sticker. But I think this is the nature of the world, and it's the nature of the reality that we live in. And I don't want to use a bunch of euphemisms and other types of vague and pacified language to discuss this in a way that is not authentic to its true harm and its true existence, which is.
That's a great comment, Blackwoods. Hijabs are offensive to me. They hide the beauty of God gave them. But I don't demand they be banned because I have this little thing called respect. Yeah. And you believe in the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech and freedom of religion. And you also believe that you shouldn't impose your religion onto someone else, right? But the thing is, that has to go both ways. And if you have a culture that does not see it both ways, which is one of the American, one of the amazing American thoughts that we have, American integrity and respect. If one group's not going to do that, then they don't belong here.
Is what I think that's what it is. And I think that there are definitely criticisms people have of me that are valid, where like I probably do dial it up a little bit too much and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc. But I want to let you know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said, and I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people.
I'm so proud of him. He's not apologizing this time. He didn't need to apologize the first time. He's definitely not apologizing now. He's doubling down. Asmongold, I'm super proud of you. You're the GOAT.
Same time. That's an incredibly dangerous thing for all the people that live in that country, and I don't think that a government has an obligation to allow a bunch of invaders to pour over and potentially kill their own citizens. I find this to just be horrible, and ultimately it should be stopped. Also, there are a lot of other patterns, like I'll give another parallel to this as well, is that in a lot of gang culture, what they do, and this is, of course, nothing like this is a monolith, but many of people like this, what they do is they'll use children to commit crimes because they know the children will not be sentenced in the same way that an adult will do.
Also, yeah, that is absolutely true. They will not be charged the same way as an adult. What the worst we got is juvie or like community volunteering, stuff like that. Like kids get a big pass until they turn 18. But the other point I want to make, the thing is we ran into this before. Remember Vietnam? What did they do with their own children? They strapped bombs on them and had them go hug American soldiers. Right now, they're just doing it differently. My friend is Jewish and tells me none of what is really happening. The invasion of migrants and Muslims in certain parts of the United States are taking over, changing our ideologies. Oh, they're that kind. Gotcha. Even said he voted for Men Dummy and NYC because he said socialism will be it won't be better. They because if you take away the means of production, then who owns anything? If the government owns it, then do I own this PlayStation controller? Do I own these glasses? Do I own this air freshener? How much does the government own? And especially if they own what you consider your home and shelter, what else are they going to take from you? Like, I think because I think America is healing. I really do. Slowly but surely. I think eventually this whole socialism thing, social democrat thing, just like the Communist Party, I think it's going to get banned because it's like, okay, all you did was rebrand it. So that means I think what's going to happen is we're going to see definitions in legal terms of like, yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see definition in legal terms. Like communism and socialism are going to be defined so that the ideas of socialism is doesn't run for government. I think that's the end goal. I don't think anyone has specifically said that they were going to do that, but I think that is something that eventually is going to happen. Because when you say communism, I mean, everyone kind of gives a different answer, but the same answer at the same time. But if you actually define it, like if you say the government cannot take over the means of production forcefully under these rules. I mean, obviously there's exceptions, then you have to write those in the new laws. But I think that's what's going to happen. I'm saying for our side, for normal people. I think in this case it would be Republicans, but I don't consider myself a Republican or Democrat. I'm all about reasonable.
And what my biggest argument for all of this is that I generally, and I know people might not believe this, I think most people do believe this, but the people that don't like me don't believe this or they don't want to, is that I think that I really do have the most moral and ethical position on this. Because the moment that you create an incentive, you also drive a behavior. And in my opinion, if you don't capitulate to this emotional blackmail, you also don't allow these people to target and victimize these children by using them as baggage and effectively shock troopers in order to accomplish a goal. So, for example, if these kids were being charged as adults, the entire tool that these people were using, these gangs were using of having children commit crimes on their behalf, this tool would effectively be rendered ineffective. But we don't want to do that because it makes people sad to put kids in jail. But from my perspective, the way that I see it is that it makes me sad to see kids that were abused, that are trafficked, and that are put into these situations because the people that are truly and profoundly evil, the people that know this, know that they can use these children because they can co-opt and use your morality against you.
Using our own morality, I've said it once, I'll say it again. They will use your own morality against you. And that's honestly, the lefty lunatics, that's honestly what the entire problem is. Because they have these moral values that, weirdly enough, majority of liberal Democrats and even the socialists have, because they are so ingrained in those values and they're so open-minded. And by the way, weird quote from Destiny. I know, a weird one. He should take his own advice. Don't be so open-minded that your brain falls out. The thing is, these people are way too open-minded. I think that the thing is, your brain should be a coliseum. It should be able to strategize. It has an open space, but it is in the confines of the reality of the battle that is your mind. But you don't blow up the coliseum because then you don't have walls and anyone can invade it.
So they can push their own evil designs. And I think that you do have to reject this in its entirety in order to have a society that isn't ruled by evil, inversion, and other types of just completely horrible people.
The thing is, there is such a thing as moral violence. Like, remember Daniel Penny, who choked out the homeless guy on the train, even though he was, yelling, screaming. I believe he was like saying that he was going to kill someone or kill himself or something like that. And he did the right thing, and he put the guy in a chokehold. Had no intention of killing the guy. I mean, that's just ended up what happened. and then he was punished for it. But the thing is, which is insane, because what he did was moral violence. He put himself in danger so that other people wouldn't be in danger, take out the threat so that other people are safe. It's unfortunate that this man with a mental illness and was homeless died. Completely unfortunate, but it was a necessary use of force for moral reasons. And Fear the Haggis, I came to the conclusion that capitalism isn't the problem, it's corporatism. It is the same as communism, and put you in a subscription prison, and you will own nothing like communism. Yes, we are going through that growing pain right now. And right now I don't see Congress doing anything about that, or the government in general. Like, one thing that I would love to pass, hear me out. I don't know if this would be legal to do. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a congressman. I think that for every subscription service, it should provide, because sometimes you get the free trials, right? The free 3 days, the free 2 weeks, whatever. What I would like to do, sure, have your free trial, but an absolutely necessary thing, and I think this will save the American people a ton of money, if not the entire Western world, that they legally have to have a 1-month subscription. Like, I'm subscribing for 1 month and 1 month only, and you are not charging me again, because we have a problem of people subscribing to stuff. I've been guilty of it, and then they forget, and then things are coming out of their checking account and they're not even realizing it. I think if you do that, I think these corporations are going to take a real loss. Good. 2, a reality check that people don't want to be nickeled and dimed. And 3, that means that they have to provide more for their ongoing monthly subscriptions or their annual subscriptions, other than a price cut. I think if you have a 1-month subscription, that means at the very end of it, it's a 1-month cycle. At the very end of it, you're not being charged. I think that will really, really help with the corporatism that is going on in the United States.
And ultimately, you do have to sometimes make hard decisions like that. But ultimately, making a hard decision like that should never have. Oh, that's my alarm. I was supposed to get up. It's 2:46 p.m. And so, excuse me on that. You do have to make these hard decisions. You do have to do things that are obviously, sometimes not the nicest things in the world. But I think that in order to do that, you do that in the goal to preserve a culture that is the best place that you want to live in the world as well. So that's the problem that I have. I don't think that I said anything wrong. I think that a lot of people actually would agree with me. And I think that the way that we've taken military action in the past, things like, for example, World War II, would indicate that actually this is not as much an objective reality that some people would make it out to be. And again, these are the same people that have no problem using children as props and having them, groomed by adults, about their gender, taking them to ICE protests, putting them directly in danger because there are rioters and criminals and violence there. Who would ever bring a kid there? And these are the same people that are saying that I'm wrong for saying that creating an incentive for people to human traffic children and use them as human shields is a bad thing. And so I apologize for absolutely nothing. I said it in a very abrasive way, and I'm going to continue communicating that way. It's how I was raised. The reality is that, I was driving my dad to the hospital. He was getting one of his cancer treatments. And he said, well, what's funny about this? And I said, what? And he says, well, now they can say you killed me too, just like they say you killed your mom.
Papa Asmongold. He will be missed. Man certainly had a sense of humor, and he definitely, passed that down to his son.
That's the way I grew up. That's the way I communicate. And that's the way I think. And I'm not sorry. And I understand that sometimes I use abrasive language. Sometimes I communicate in a way that's a little bit, harsh.
Harsh, brash. The thing is, we need that right now. This pussyfooting has been going on for too long. Call it as you see it. And not in some la-la utopia that you wish it would be. What is the reality on the ground, and what can we do about it in the most ethical, moral, safe way? And if force is needed, then it must be done.
And, people can say I'm mean, they can say I'm evil, they can say everything, but they're not saying I'm wrong. And I think that ultimately we should look at a lot of these uncomfortable truths with a lot more of a clear mind, rather than allowing it to be polluted by by people that I think want to hurt us, people that want to put us in a position that is not advantageous. And that's the reason why I communicate the way that I do. It is hopefully to normalize this type of language and for people to see things for what they are rather than what they want them.
Yeah. So we can say that something is retarded because sometimes it is. And it's not about fucking people with Down syndrome. It's about normal people who say and do and think dumb things. Because sometimes the right word is retarded.
To me. And I think that's for better and for worse. So that's the reason why I talk the way that I do. I'm not sorry. It's probably not going to have to. It's probably not going to stop. I might try to. I'm going to try to obviously tone it down a little bit because I don't want to get suspended all the time, right? Contrary to popular belief, it's great to have a vacation, but I don't want to have them all the time. And so, that's pretty much where things stand. Yeah, that's the way that I feel. That's my reasoning for it. I view it as a trolley problem, and I think it enables human trafficking the moment that you capitulate to that type of emotional blackmail. So that's really the way that I feel. And I know this might be a harsh opinion. It might not be something that everybody agrees with, but I think it is the ethically correct thing to do, given the the implications of doing otherwise. So anyway, that's the way that I feel. Now, what's going to happen now? I'll probably file an appeal in a day or so. Hopefully, I can get unsuspended earlier.
I don't think they're gonna unsuspend him earlier. I don't think they will. They want to make a point with Asmongold. They wanted him to apologize again, but he didn't. And that's why I think he's gonna have to do the full 2-week ban because Twitch is full of retards.
Really know. I'll probably I can try to I wish I could just talk to them. It's really funny. So like Twitch emails me and they say like, yeah, you had an accidental content violation because you accidentally showed something on your stream you shouldn't have showed. And like they sent me an email for this. So I said, I respond back. I'm like, oh yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And so then I get suspended for 2 weeks. No email. I don't have any email. So this is the funniest thing.
By the way, if you're a content creator and you are part of any sort of monetization or partner program, it's this way with all of them. So far, I haven't had any issues with Rumble, but I have heard of some instances with Rumble, not as much as I do with YouTube or Twitch. I haven't had any issues with Kick, but you just run into these issues and they're all automated. From what I do hear is that Kick, like 95% of the time, you actually get a real person. So that's good to know if anything happens with that platform. But oh man, it is with YouTube especially. It is a pain in the ass. Like I've been demonetized for just the weirdest shit. Like I've gotten demonetized because a woman had big bazungas. I probably should have taken it out of the thumbnail. I think I probably would have gotten away with that, but I couldn't help myself.
By the way, I actually don't even know this is why I got banned. Twitch has never communicated to me what the thing is that I did wrong.
See, the thing with me, actually, Black Wolf, why isn't he using his streamer camera and his microphone? I mean, it looks like that he just got like a I don't know what kind of cell phone he uses, but it looks like he got a shitty cell phone and then just hit record and then said fuck all. Like whenever he does these him videos and not streaming, the video and audio quality absolutely sucks, but it gets millions of views. I don't know. That's just Asmon.
That got me banned. I'm just guessing it's probably the thing that everybody was mad about, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's actually some other random clip that had nothing to do with this. But that's generally what my thinking on it is. Will I be back? Yeah, sure, I'll be back. It's been nice to have a little bit of a vacation. I've been stressed out about other like life stuff. I feel like I'm in kind of a position in my life now where it's like, what am I doing with my life? Where do I want to be in 5 or 10 years? Right? It's like kind of midlife crisis type stuff. I'm dealing with. I don't talk about this a lot on screen because it's stupid, boring, and it's also it's indulgent, and I don't want to treat my viewers like my own personal diary, but I have been going through my own personal issues as well.
Oh my God. The internet is everyone's personal diary. It's just how much you put on there. It really is. Because if you didn't have a personal diary, then that means you couldn't connect to an audience.
especially right after losing both my parents, and I'm living here by myself. And it gives you a lot of questions for like what to do in life. And I don't want to get too into that, but just know that that's the backdrop for a lot of the ways that like I'm dealing with things personally off stream. And so yeah, and then all these things happen. I have this health scare, and it's like, oh my god, this is like, am I dying? Right? Is this happening? And so that's really kind of why I haven't immediately responded. It had nothing to do really with Twitch at all. I was worried about something that was a lot more important. So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching. I'll be back really soon. I haven't really decided. Maybe I'll just come back and stream on Kick. I can just wait out the suspension. I don't.
Honestly, at this point, like, I don't know why he keeps going back to Twitch. Like, I understand that that's where he built his empire. That's, where he started. Your first platform is your first love. Totally get it. But at this point, they've done you dirty so many times, and you make significantly more money on Kick. I just don't understand why you're still on that garbage platform. I honestly don't.
Don't really know. I'll probably get a few other like real life weekly and monthly quests done, and just try to relax a little bit, which has been great. I slept for like 10 hours yesterday, so I'm in kind of good mood right now. And so yeah, anyway, that's pretty much what the plan is. And yeah, that's about all I've got. I'll be back, and yeah, see you next time. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching and sticking around this long. Sorry it's such a long video. There's a lot to talk about, and a lot that's happened. So yeah, that's the way I feel. That's where I'm at. That's what's going on, and I'll see you guys very soon. So until next time, boys. Peace. See ya.
I swear to God. Hey, thank you for watching this clip from my live stream. Please comment below, like, and subscribe. And be sure to subscribe to my main channel, where I do all these live streams and have my independent videos where I do deep dives. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you are somebody, I am nobody, and I hope you have a fantastic day.